What's up, guys? Big Papa Drock back with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and this is the Raid Shadow Legends video I have wanted to make for over a year and a half, folks. That's right, it's finally time. Your boy got his nice, and now we're going to do a video telling you exactly how to build him, showcasing him, all that fun stuff. Because the thing is, I see some people saying that Nice isn't a broken champion. He's not an OP champion, and frankly, they're just wrong. And this is my chance to show you how to build him to be an absolute menace, especially in live arena and siege modes. So we're going to get into all the different stuff that makes him incredible, all the ways to build him to make him an absolute beast, and to piss your opponents off more than anything. God knows every time I face a Nice, I am usually very upset. So now it's my turn to get to do that to other people. But before we get into it, wanted to share something, I guess, kind of cool. I am officially 55 pounds lighter, folks. I've lost 55 pounds in the last 2.5, 3 months, basically since the end of August. I went from 337 pounds all the way down to 282 pounds, which is the most weight I've ever lost in my entire life. So I just wanted to share that because I'm still not 100%. Unfortunately, they still are trying to figure out what's causing my chest pressure symptoms and all that kind of fun stuff. Not that you necessarily care, but I wanted to share that because I'm super proud of it. It's been a lot of hard work, especially with all the stuff going on in my personal life related to my health. So would love to hear in the comments down below something cool that you've accomplished in relation to your life, your health, your life. I always enjoy reading them. And I think that's a perfect time to bring it up before we get into this nice video. So, okay, that's that. It's nice time. You skipped ahead of this, totally understand. But let's look first and foremost at Nice's skills. He is a mythical champion, of course, a Sylvan Watcher. We do have two forms. We have an attack and HP based first form, and then an HP based second form. So let's look at the first form first. The A1 All Piercer attacks one enemy, will ignore shield, unkillable, and block damage buffs with damage based on HP and attack. I mean, look, fantastic A1. You're ignoring shield, you're ignoring unkillable, you're ignoring block damage. Really, really, really good for arena, right? I mean, this is so massive when you think about how many champions now use block damage, where it's Neve or where it's champions like Rotos with unkillable. As long as you have them below that passive level, you can hypothetically take him out. So phenomenal A1 on the first form. The A2 Black Feather Barrage attacks all enemies. This attack will not trigger counterattacks and ignore shield buffs. So another attack that ignores shield. Also steals 20% of the turn meter from each enemy. This effect cannot be resisted by enemies with more than 50% turn meter. You love to see something that you can't resist, right? I mean, this is great because you don't have to worry about accuracy. As long as they've got more than 50% turn meter, you can jack their turn meter away. You're ignoring shields and you're ignoring counterattacks, which is big if you were going to use this, for example, against a Taurus or Marichka team. So grade A2. A3, Thief's Omen. Attacks one enemy, deals double damage to bosses. That's a really interesting thing that they put in there. Destroys the target's max HP and decreases the target's attack, defense, speed, resistance, and accuracy by 10% when this skill is used against them for the first time. This effect does not work against bosses. Also increases this champion's max HP, attack, defense, speed, resistance, accuracy by 10% each time this champion decreases enemy stats with the skill. Finally, places a block revive debuff if the target is killed by the skill. I mean, what do you say? Like, phenomenal skill, 3-turn cooldown, right? A2 is also on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. I mean, you're block reviving, you're reducing your enemies' stats and they can't resist it. You're increasing your own stats. If you just looked at Nice solely off of his first form, he's a damn good champion with his first form alone. Now let's look at the passive too. Deals 5% more damage for each 10% HP the target has lost. Also prevents this champion's death and keeps them alive on 1 HP when receiving fatal damage, then transforms them into their alternate form. This passive is part of what makes this champion so absurdly broken. The fact that he's very tough to kill in his first form because of the passive, and he gets to switch into his second form, and it doesn't say it here, he gets an instant turn. It's absurdly broken, right? It just is. This champion is goofy broken. But here's the funny thing. This first form is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the form that you should be using most of the time. And it's not the form that makes nice so terrifying in arena. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I think that players make when it comes to using nice. Don't get me wrong, you can use this form, and there are absolutely certain scenarios where you want to use it, but it's the second form, guys, that makes this champion so busted when it's built correctly. And when I say when it's built correctly, because most people build this champion very wrong. So let's look at the second form. First off, HP based champion. HP in the second form. Damage is only from HP. Very important to realize this. The A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit heals this champion by 7.5% of their max HP. If the champion's HP is full, each hit fills this champion's turn meter by 15% instead. This is an incredible A1. Incredible, because when you get in this form, you can get so much HP on Nice that he basically is just healing the ever-living crap out of himself and becomes basically impossible to kill. And if he's at full HP, he is boosting his turn meter by 30% off of an A1. Dude, that's insane. This A1 is incredible. Now let's get to the A2. Murder of Crows. Attack all enemies. Places a provoke debuff for 1 turn if this champion has more than 50% HP. This debuff cannot be resisted if this champion has more than 75% HP. Again, no accuracy necessary. If this champion has 50% HP or less, places a stun debuff for 1 turn instead. This debuff cannot be resisted. So we are landing debuffs irresistible. We're AoEing here, right? Phenomenal A2. Phenomenal, like phenomenal A2. The only thing that stops this basically is you built your champion wrong, or alternatively, you know, get polymorphed. But we'll get to that in a second. A3, Feather Shield. This is the most frustrating ability in his entire kit, by the way. This is what truly makes him broken, along with that passive in the first form, and then also his passive in this form. Feather Shield removes all debuffs from this champion, places a number of 15% continuous heal buffs on this champion equal to the amount of debuffs removed by this skill. Also places a counterattack buff and a block damage buff on this champion for 2 turns that cannot be removed, stolen, or transferred. What can you say, guys? He cleanses, he heals, and he also makes it impossible basically to kill himself. Or kill him. We need more champions that ignore block damage, right? There aren't a ton of them in the game that are super good or super strong to take down somebody like Nice because of his passive. And this is the biggest reason where people screw up building this champion, is not understanding this passive. Fey Intervention increases this champion's max HP, defense, speed, resistance, and accuracy by 15% for every dead enemy and ally, including bosses and their minions in battle, stacking up to 100%. Also revives 1 random ally with 50% HP and 50% turn meter each time this champion kills an enemy. This is unquestionably one of the most busted passive abilities in the entirety of Raid Shadow Legends. Because if you build your Nice correctly, if you build them correctly, if you have to have really elite gear to do it, but if you build them correctly with this passive, he effectively becomes close to impossible to kill. And it's why he's such an incredible live arena champion. He is a phenomenal siege champion. He is an awesome arena defense champion. He is an absolutely god tier live arena champion, especially because you can control what's going against him. He is actually just a good arena offense champion. He is not a classic arena offense champion because he's not going to farm at the same level. But when it comes to live arena, when it comes to siege, and when it comes to, you know, classic arena defense, he is at the tippity top of the ladder because of this second form. Look at his base stats, guys. Look at his base stats. His base stats are almost 25k HP and 1300 defense with 105 speed. And you can hypothetically get up to 100% increases on that, right? 100% on his max HP when he's built. And that's why you start to understand that if you build this champion correctly, he is busted. He is busted. So we've gone over his kit. His kit on its own, easily one of the best in the entire game. You know what I mean? Easily for arena. But now let's look at how to build him and where people screw up. So first and foremost, let's talk about the artifact. Uh, surprise, surprise. Wand of Submission is the gold standard for nice. Now, it is not the only artifact you can put on him, but it is the best because about the only thing that can stop nice is controlling him, crowd controlling him, stopping him from acting, block active skilling him potentially. You know what I mean? The Wand of Submission takes care of the stuns and the other things like that. So Wand of Submission, in my opinion, one of the absolute best, actually not in my opinion, it is one of the absolute best relics to put on him. But there are others that are really damn good too. The other one that you could think of, if you have it, I do not, unfortunately, is the, where is it? Zibia's Servitude. Zibia's Servitude, guys. Enemies cannot land critical hits on the wearer if the wearer's HP is below 15%, stacking up to, I believe, 40%, if I remember correctly. I mean, holy crap, man. 40 up to 40% of Nice's HP. And you think about that second form where he has a massive amount of HP and you can't crit him and he can still heal himself, right? He can still heal with his A1. He can heal with his A3. You start to get an idea of why this can be an absolutely broken relic to put on this champion. Those, in my opinion, are the best. You could put other stuff on him, I guess, but frankly, I'm not even going to talk about it because those are the ones that if you have either of those are the ones you're thinking of. But Wand, relatively available since it's a legendary relic, might take some time. It's a phenomenal relic to put on him, you know, and it's easier to get than a Zibius. Again, I don't even have a Zibius. Let's talk about gemstones too. You'll notice what I've got in his gemstones for his relic. We're going in depth on this video, right? I've waited so long to get this champion. We're going in depth. So let's take a look at the different gemstones you can put if you are using a wand like I am. So I've got 2 mythical gems in here. Ignore defense effects are 12% less effective against the wearer is so busted on this champion because of how hard he becomes to kill in that second form. So this is an absolute must. In fact, you could have 2 of these, frankly, if you're lucky enough to have 2 of them. I do, but I switched out for the every time the wearer kills an enemy increases their damage dealt because I really wanted to max his damage. I might switch back, frankly. Like having a 24% less effective ignore defense effect against this champion is so incredibly busted. What can I say? So these are like the gold standards of what you're probably going to be putting in there. And we'll look at other options as well. And then I don't really have a phenomenal diamond one. So I've just got every time the wearer receives healing from a skill increases his max HP. You know, there are much better options than that. If we take a look in here at gemstones, let's take a look first and foremost at the circular one. So bloodthirsty prowess, bolstered defense, by far going to be the best. You could do things like invigorated or unstoppable hypothetically, but they're not going to get nearly as much value out of them. The other ones are kind of meh. Like really, you need these. That's what you need. Let's go down to diamonds. Okay. Necro defense is your gold tier standard for nice. The wearer reduces incoming damage by 10% for each dead ally. I mean, you want dead allies when you're using nice. So this is the gold tier. If you're putting a wand on him, this is what you hope to have. I don't have it, of course. Boo. I'm very sad about this because this, again, makes him even harder to kill. You could use something like Revival's Boon since he does revive people, but you're not going to get a massive amount of value out of that, frankly. No, not going to use that. Parting Gift isn't too bad. I have one of these. I just have it on my Galathir. You know what I mean? This is a 10% chance to reduce your skill. You can't really see, but reduce your skill cooldown anytime that someone gets killed or one of your allies gets killed. So this is a valuable one for him as well. I think those are probably your best bet if you're using a wand. Yeah, Necro Defense, though. Slide over here. Wearer reduces incoming damage by 10% for each dead ally. I mean, massive. Potential 30% damage reduction on a champion that's already damn near impossible to kill. If you're using a Zibia's, where's a Zibia? Let's look at the Zibia again so I can remind myself what the heck's in this thing. We've got a circle, we've got a square, we've got a pentagon, and we've got another square. So 2 squares, a circle, and a pentagon. So let's take a look there. We already talked about the circle. We haven't talked about the squares. And the pentagon, what do we got here? I mean, no. Could certainly use this one. Could use power reset. Depending on how you build your nice, you could hypothetically use this, but we'll talk about that in a second when we go to the builds. There's not really a ton of great pentagonal ones for nice, frankly. Yeah, not really a lot of these that make super incredible sense. And you could certainly use this, get some more turn meter. It's not bad when you're hurting people in for the kill, which, gives you a turn meter boost when an enemy loses a bunch of HP. That's not a bad idea. But pentagonal, well, you're not really getting a ton. Let's take a look at the squares. Mm, this isn't bad at all. Buff depletion, a chance to deplete the duration of buffs whenever they're attacked. That's pretty solid. This is great. Steadfast preparation would be good. You lose 20% or more of your max HP. Next hit receive will be 20% less damage. Now, the only thing is, you have so much max HP, you got to really be hit by somebody hard to activate this. So that's the one downside with nice. This is phenomenal. Weakening resolve. When attacked with a multi-hit skill, decreases the damage the wearer receives from each subsequent hit after the first one by 10%. That's phenomenal. Because your number one counter to nice, is going to be Marius. Marius is your biggest hope when you face this champion. It's why he's so good in live arena, because often you can get a Marius ban. There are other ways to counter nice, but it's really tough. But he is by far your best because of the enfeeble, frankly, more than anything else. This is also good. Damage mitigation. Basically, anything that reduces damage is a good thing to put on him when it comes to a gemstone. Anything that's going to make him harder to kill, because once you get him in that second form, that's really all you're trying to do. You don't care if your allies die. In fact, you want them to die, because when your allies die, Nice becomes an absolute freaking monster beast, right? Like, that's the whole point of this kit. When you get your allies dead, he is suddenly an absolute monster. So he's not super strong. This is why he isn't as good for arena offense, right? He's not a super fast champion to farm with. Like, you want him in live arena because when everybody else dies, he becomes literally impossible to deal with, or quite close to impossible to deal with. So that's how you build him relic wise. That's how you build him gemstone wise. Let's talk now about your blessing. You have a couple options here, really. Chainbreaker is pretty much your gold standard because, again, what stops Nice? Controlling him. What has a chance of removing controls like stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear, petrification? Chainbreaker does. Plus, it also boosts his turn meter, which is, a huge thing too. It has a chance to boost his turn meter by up to, 40% chance of filling it by 20% when he's hit under one of those debuffs. Super good. So you're cleansing debuffs automatically if someone did manage to control him. If his wand didn't, proc, for example, you're getting a chance to cleanse those, and then you're getting a chance to increase his turn meter, making him harder to stop. And the other thing too is because he gets this massive speed increase with this passive, guys, right? He's getting potentially 100% more speed. He becomes the fastest champion in the freaking game, potentially. That's why he's so damn busted. So not only does he now have double the HP and defense, so he's damn near impossible to kill, he's also now faster than everybody on your freaking team, right? And he has an ability where he can stop being damaged and guarantee a counterattack, and you can't remove it, and cleanse himself. Do you see why this champion's so broken now? Do you see why I've tried for over a year and a half, I think, to get this damn champion? Because he is this freaking broken. All right. Chainbreaker, your main choice. You can absolutely also go something like Lightning Cage. If you're building him a Stone Skin, of course, also depending on the mode. By the way, I want to give a quick shout out to Chicken Noodle. Chicken Noodle, someone who is an incredible raid player who I've been chatting about on different builds for champions. So just wanted to give some love to Chicken Noodle because I ran some of my ideas by her and asked her for her feedback on some things as well. And she's wonderful at that. I really wanted to make sure we did a very strong, in-depth, nice video for you guys. Now, masteries. You can go a lot of different ways in masteries, honestly. I've done something that's a little bit off the beaten path. There are different opinions as to what you want to do. Some people will go something like Ruthless Ambush to make sure that he hits harder when he hits them for the first time. You don't necessarily need to do Shield Breaker since you don't have a ton of shield. Like, he's ignoring shields in his first form. And frankly, he gets so strong in his second form when people die that it's not going to necessarily be the most important thing. I've gone Cycle of Violence and I've gone Whirlwind of Death because I want to make him even faster. You technically don't need this, frankly, because he does get his own speed boost in that second form, but I like him being even faster, especially when allies aren't dead. And then Cycle of Violence because he can absolutely nuke the living crap out of people, and reducing his cooldown is never a bad thing. Wrath of the Slain. Frankly, this should be a requirement for Nice because you want him to do more damage when people are dead in that second form. So you want to have Wrath of the Slain on him to get that additional 10% damage when you have two allies that are dead. And then I've gone Methodicals because I want his A1s to hit harder. That A1 is damn good in that second form, especially with that counterattack. And then also Kill Streak to increase his damage whenever he kills someone. And then, of course, Helm Smasher. I've gone Support. I wanted to get him a little more HP. I also really wanted to get him the chance of increasing his turn meter when buffs disappear, as well as giving more cooldown chances with Cycle of Magic, and then Spirit Haste to increase his speed even further when people die. Again, you want your team to be dead when you're using Nice. That is when he becomes impossible to deal with. Could you go defense? Sure, you could. I don't think it's as good of a tree personally for Nice. I do think Support is better because of these three options here. Some people go Lore of Steel as well. I don't think it's necessary. I'd rather have Cycle of Magic into this, and I'd rather have Wrath of the Slain and Cycle of Violence personally. I want to cool down his skills as much as possible. Defense you could absolutely do and go counterattack, but I do think Support is better. So that is how I have done his masteries. Now, let's talk about the build. This is where people screw it up. This is where they screw it up, guys. You should be building your Nice in usually a couple of different sets, but I have gone Savage and Stoneskin, which is the classic Nice build. You can absolutely go 6-piece Merciless with 3 pieces of Reaction, which is another phenomenal build for Nice. I think those are your best options, or of course Lethal. Lethal Stoneskin, Savage Stoneskin, Merciless Reaction. The biggest thing with Nice and how you want to play him is you just want him to get into a second form. His first form is significantly easier to deal with, especially because his defense is so low. Even with the passive, right, that keeps him alive and switches him into a second form, you can multi-hit the first form to death, right? So your whole goal is get Nice into second form. That's all you care about. Get him in the second form most of the time. Again, there are exceptions where you want the first form, but for the most part, you want him in that second form. And now here's where people screw up building him. You need to max his HP, guys. Ignore the attack. It's all about HP for this champion. You don't need 5,000 attack on Nice. You don't need 6,000 attack on Nice. He gets no benefit from it in his second form. Yes, his first form is based on HP and attack damage. Whoop-de-frickin-do. His second form is the broken one. You want him to be a freaking nightmare that is impossible to kill. The +4 Nices of the world, guys, they sometimes have 150, 160k HP right here before that boost. They can end up at 300,000 plus HP if every ally or most enemies are dead, right? Like, you understand why it's so broken? You get it now? So how do you want to build him? Max the HP, as much defense as you can get on him without sacrificing HP, because you need that damage. He doesn't need to be super fast like other champions in this game. You don't need him to be 330 speed. It's not necessary. Does it help? Sure. Like, you need him to be fast enough, but you could build a Nice with 250, 260 speed, and that's completely acceptable if he's built correctly with the right gear. Of course, as much crit damage as you can get. I would love to have another 30 to 40 on here. We're just not there yet with my gear, is what it is. And then this is the other thing too. If you are a god tier ultra kraken whale, if you're crypto basically, or someone else, you will see Nice built with 400, 500 plus resistance. And you might say, Drock, why? Why the hell would you build Nice with that much resistance? And the answer is, and keep in mind, still with insane stats over here. The answer is the passive. If you look at the passive in the second form, he gets a potential 100% increase to his resistance. What is the number one way to kill a Nice? Number one way is to control him. Well, if he's got 1,000 resistance, it becomes a lot harder to do that. So there are some god tier builds that will have a ton of resistance on him. I can't do it on a base level nice. And frankly, you shouldn't either. You should only be doing that if you have a +4 nice. If you've got a +4 nice, by all means, if you've got the gear, build him with resistance too. Build him with damage, build him with HP, build him with defense, build him with resistance. So these are my base level stats, right? So this is my first form. You see that? Only 4K attack, 117K HP. The defense is low because it scales off of the super low defense rate for his first form, but it's the second form that matters. When you have this much HP, he becomes a lot harder to deal with, guys. A lot harder to deal with. So let's look at the actual gear. Again, I've gone Savage and Stoneskin here. He's not fully glyphed up. He has room for more. There is room for more. And you know what? Just because I'm going to do it, because it's a vid, we'll take it. We'll take an increase in the HP, make him stronger. Make him the dominator. I wish I had some more speed glyphs. But HP, crit rate, speed, crit damage, that's how you're rolling here, boys. I've got HP percentage boots on him, right? I could hypothetically switch this out and make him slower and put even more HP on him. And frankly, I might just do that once I have enough speed glyphs on him to make him even faster or to compensate for that. But this is my absolute best gear. I mean, I literally rated everyone that I could find on my account that had gear that made sense and put it on him. Do I wish I had a 6-star banner here? Yes, I do. But for a 5-star, it's about as good as it gets. Then if you can get reaction on him, get that reaction piece. Like you having that reaction piece gives you that one little bit more survivability in that first form before you get him into that second form. And again, Stoneskin. So this isn't even a great HP percentage ring. But again, what's it all add up to? In the second form, massive amounts of HP, really good defense, still really solid speed, and decent crit damage. That's how you want to build this champion. Don't build him with attack. I beg you, when you build him with a ton of attack, you've sabotaged what makes him great. So now, that's the build. Let's take him in and let's show you in depth how to use him and why he is so strong. So we'll go into Dragon. We'll take a quick peek there just to get some base level damage stuff like we normally do. And then we'll take him into Arena. All right, Dragon 23, the Void stage, per usual. This is how we rock, as you probably know. Let's get our boy. Let's get our Lydia. That's all we really need. We're not going to get any boosts. Well, what did I just do? Hold on. Let me go back and find her again. But we're not getting any boosts like we would with increased attack or anything like that, right? So we don't care about that. All we care about is his damage. I mean, I guess we could technically boost his first form. So you know what? I'll do it. Why not? We'll just throw Arbiter in here to make it easy. Okay. Great. Let's test him out in Dragon. So we'll test the first form first. Again, you should be switching into the second form basically right away, but let's test all the forms. So, okay, first form. This is with him built primarily with HP, right? Let's see what kind of damage he does. This is the A2. Nothing incredible, right? It's not super incredible. It's not a ultra strong thing, especially when you build them like this, but that's okay. Let's look at the A3. This is really where you're more trying to get value out of it when you're using them in the first form. You want the A3 to hit super hard. Let's see how it does. It still hits pretty damn hard. 614K damage, and we're building him with HP. 614K damage, and we're building him with HP. That is a damn good A3, right? And it's a block revive. It's a super strong block revive A3. And we didn't have to put attack on him to get value out of that, right? Good. Now let's see the A1. Let's test out the A1. What do we got here? One hitter. What's the A1 do? 372. Yeah. Yes, please. Ignoring shield, block damage, and unkillable. Yeah. So look, if you didn't even have the second form, this champion is still damn good. But the second form is what makes him busted. The second form is what makes him busted. Now, we're not going to get the full value out of testing the second form because we don't have dead allies and we don't have dead enemies necessarily. So something to keep in mind. But we'll see it more in arena when we go in there. How do you play the second form? Ideally, if you're in live arena, you're putting up the block damage and you're putting up the counterattack right away. Since we're just damage testing right now, we're going to go right into his A2 and see what it does. 290, 299. It's not that incredible, right? Like it's okay. It's decent. That's because no one's dead. Once people are dead, that's when it becomes a massive nuke. You just got to get to a point where they're dead. Now, does his A1? I think so, right? His passive is anybody is, oh yeah, every dead enemy and ally. So effectively, with 4 people dead, we have now increased his HP, his defense and speed by 60%. He is now at over, I believe, he's around 200,000 HP. Let's see what the A1 does. This is a double hitter, but we'll only get 1 hit. 202. Not bad. And again, that's an A1 that you can literally counterattack with over and over and over again. So you start to see when you build them right, when you use them correctly, you start to understand why this champion is such a pain in the ass to deal with. And frankly, should be nerfed. Look, I have him now. Someone wrote a comment recently like, oh, Drock, now that you have Nice, do you think he shouldn't be nerfed? Or like, no, this champion's still busted. He's still a pain in the ass. He should be balanced, just like every other broken champion that's ever been in this game. But that doesn't happen anymore, and that's a personal opinion. So you're welcome to feel differently. All right, let's start with the A1 just by itself without any increase. Look at the difference in damage there, guys. 72, 92. No one's dead. Nobody's dead. So suddenly he's not doing incredible damage. This is where people screw up playing Nice. You want your allies or other enemies to be dead. When they are dead, he gets good. We'll nuke again. Completely fine. So let's take him into arena and let's show him off. Let's show him off. I would try to take him into live arena, guys, but frankly, he's going to get banned all the time. You'll just have to imagine me playing with him in live arena, and or if I ever am able to return to streaming where I can actually speak for a long period of time without getting worn out, then I will absolutely do that. But let's take him into classic arena. Now, again, he is better on arena defense and he's better in siege on arena defense than he is as an arena offense champion. He is not the best arena offense champion. There are better options that are faster, but he should still be good. Let's take a quick look at the top players. We're in Platinum Arena. I'm at 276. You can't see it, but there's nice teams all abound. We're midweek, by the way, so this is not your ending teams, but you see quite a few nices in there. Surprise, surprise. You also see some Volcanoses. You see some Neves, lots of stuff. But Nice is a staple. He is a staple, guys. Sorry for coughing. The longer I talk, the harder it gets. Okay. Let's take a look. We'll start here. Lockout. Here's the other nice thing about Nice. It doesn't matter. You don't care about Lockout because you only care about that second form anyway. And he's a great affinity for Crixia. So what are your best teams to run with Nice when you're trying to use them in stuff like Live Arena? Well, you know, if you've got the mythicals or if you've got the legendaries, stuff like this are always awesome teams to use when you're looking at stuff like Live Arena, right? Now, I'm not going to be faster, but just for giggles, let's go ahead and try something like this. So this is a go second team. That's the other thing too. Nice is a valid go second champion. Go second, you can pull it off the vast majority of the time because of that passive. He'll just switch over. This is also where it's nice to have Chainbreaker because even if I lose this stuff, he has a chance to cleanse anyway. Okay, didn't strip the Stone Skin. This is part of why you build him in Stone Skin. Marius is the #1 counter, in my opinion, to Nice. Other options, Onryo Iyasu, also a phenomenal counter. Shout out to Susie for helping me to see that, by the way. But now, we have one dead ally. He's locked out. We're going to switch forms. Not going to matter, right? Even if we'd been hit with the Enfeeble, all we would do is just cleanse and get that up. Again, Marius, the #1 pain in the ass for Nice. This is the worst thing to run into because they give Feeble is the other thing that can stop him. But we've got 3 dead people now. Let's just use an A1 on this Odin. Oh yeah, you're dead. You're revived. Now we got him feebled there, right? This is part of the issue. This is where you can really trap him. So if you're trying to use Nice, your best bet is to make sure to ban a Marius. Ban the Marius whenever you can in live arena. Still, not a problem whatsoever. Let's take him against a turtle team. I actually haven't had a chance to do this. Let's take him into turtle team. We'll try some other harder teams with the go second build as well. Although we might be going first on this. I kind of want to just see if Siegfried can kill them all. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Party dude. All right. Switch him over to the second form. Just put it up. And then just chill. You just chill, man. You don't have to do anything. We're chilling right now, right? Let's get the counterattack. Boom, boom. Nice. Now, we're not doing a ton of damage here, right? This is the challenge when you don't. This is why he's not a good arena offense champion. Or not a great arena offense champion or the best arena offense champion. We're just essentially sitting here waiting. And the other question is going to be, are we going to have enough damage? Now we start losing people, though. People start dying. Things start getting different. Siegfried, of course, helping us out here. But we'll just A1 again. He's going to heal. The more people that are dead, the better it is. This is actually great because this is how you want to use him. Literally what we're doing right now. Turtle teams are nasty. This is my first time facing one. Okay. We have block damage up here anywhere? Nope. We have unkillables up. Let's try nuking. Oh, let's go. And got the provoke up. Nice. And we revived. Now he got cooked there. He got cooked by the Leonardo. Oh, my Lord. Oh, but Marichka brings us back. Damn, this turtle team is legit. This is my first time ever facing a turtle team. This is actually awesome. Is this the way to counter them? Counter Nice? It might be. Let's go ahead and switch him back to his first form here. Can I block revive on any of these guys? Double Leonardo also kind of nasty. Let's try this. Okay, we did get a block revive there. Now he might die. That's fine. Possibly. Might not be fine. We might be cooked here. Dude, the all turtle team is legit. I've never faced one before. This Leonardo is cooking me right now. I think we're cooked. Oh my Lord. Damn. Okay. All turtle team, legitimate counter potentially. That team rocked my world. I am absolutely shocked. All right, we got to try it again though. Okay. Let's see here. Let's try going first and seeing if we can get some disruption. Damn, that team was legit. Yeah, let's go something like this. And just see if we can get some of the buffs off. Dude, damn, I need that Leonardo big time. This is a nice showcase though, okay? And realistically, you're not going to get a full turtle team most likely in live arena most of the time. Okay, that's fine. It's cooking. The turtles are cooking. All right, get him in the second form. Just nuke. Yeah, basically that's what you want. As long as you can get to the second form and ideally not be a ton of buffs. This team was actually way harder than I realized just because of the amount of buffs. Jeez. I cannot wait to get a Leonardo. My God. All right, let's try him against. This is a great team to try him against. This is going to be a little tricky, but let's give him a go here. Oh, wait. I should have switched my team up. Hold on. We can still use this, though. This is fine. Okay, we did get that. It's always good. All right. Let's just switch him into his second form. Actually, we could have just killed everyone right there. Technically, this would have been a good time to test out the block damage, ignoring stuff. But let's just go like this. Okay, we lose people. That's fine. We're actually not going to look to revive. I want to see what we can do when Nice is just by himself. Try to trigger her block damage. Okay, we res somebody. See, the resing stuff is also what makes him so nasty. You know what I mean? Perfect. Okay. He resisted that because he's got a ton of resistance now. Now, we can go ahead and nuke here. Doesn't make a ton of sense, though. Look at the A1. It's chopping up Taurus. And then look how fast he is. Look how fast he is getting back to his turn, getting his abilities back so quickly. And then the counterattack comes in. Oh, my Lord. Just chopping it up. He becomes so strong with that counterattack. That's where he becomes so nasty. Dead, and we get somebody back. We get some buffs on him. And they're dead. And now does he have his abilities back? Not quite yet. Kill the Taurus. Dead. Got another person back. This is a little tricky. Oh, wait. We can cleanse and heal ourselves. That's right. I forgot. Cleanse and heal. It's like, he's just stupid. He's just stupid. Again, like, there are ways to beat him for sure. You know, and they've definitely introduced more options to counter him than they have in the past. But it's his passive in the second form that makes it so hard. And this is honestly the worst place to show him off. Like, arena offense is not his bag. It's not where you should be using this champion. Let's try. Let's see what else we got here. Could try, yeah, one of the stock teams. Let's try that. Why not? Let's go back to the Marichka. Now, we're surrounding him with strong champions. Surprise, surprise. You know what I mean? Like, this is basically how you get the max value out of him. But even if you only have a Nice and a bunch of other bad champions, if you build him strong enough, he can carry you in certain modes, specifically live arena, stuff like that. Let's do Marichka, Galathier, Nice. Who else? Do Crixia. Why don't we do that? Well, I don't want to lock him out, actually. We do Nice and Gizmak. Sure. Why not? Damn, that Turtles team, though. That Turtles team, not messing around. All right, we're playing into it. So this is the big thing. Like, can we get him? Can we get him to live? Can we get him into that second form? I probably shouldn't have boosted that much. You can really see the damage. Would go ahead and switch forms just so I don't die on the Galathier or kill everybody else. Ooh, I think we might be cooked. Possibly. No, we're good with the block damage. All right, cleanse, heal. Oh, the ignore block damage is tough. This is like the hard team to deal with. We just need to get him into his abilities, and once he starts killing people, then we don't have to worry. Stock, very much a solid champion. Okay, now we're getting people back. Might be a chance to show off his Chainbreaker, though. Nope, he didn't. Did he proc it? No, he didn't proc the Chainbreaker. We might have just cooked ourselves with that buff with the Nell. The stock is doing a lot of work here. This is a tough team because the block damage doesn't work. Another counter form. Oh, we're dead. Oh, my Lord. So, okay, you can counter him much more effectively when you're on arena offense. You can't choose the enemies that you're using against him. And you also cannot, block any, you can't block anyone from coming in there. And there are way more counters that appear when you're looking at arena offense. So Stock, yeah, block damage is his thing. Stock's going to be tough. Surprise, surprise. That was not a fun battle. So it's good. They have added more abilities to deal with him. But again, when you're in live arena, you have less control over what people do. That is the reality. You can't control all of their team to make it so that they have a viable counter for nice. All right, Empress. We might not be able to get him in the second turn, second form. All right, we got lucky. Switched him in. Up goes the block damage. Just go full auto. Let's see what the PC does. What the PC do? All right, he is feared. Is he going to be able to cleanse it? Let's actually go off full auto. I'm curious. They've got a nice 2. There, everyone's getting block revived. They're health swapping me. You know what? I'm just not gonna risk it. Oh, he didn't block revive. Never mind. I thought he blocked revive. The magma shield. He's gonna switch to his form. Now it's a block revive off. This is where like you want to get that block revive up. Get the block revive up, suddenly people are still alive. Again, live arena champion, guys. Live arena champion by far. He is significantly better in live arena than he is on arena offense. It is a lot harder to show him off this way. But I know if I bring him into live arena, he's just going to get banned over and over and over and over and over again, which is frustrating. Let's take him into a team. Take him into a Siegfried team. It could be the Theodosia. I mean, this is another one. Gizmac, if you can get a Gizmac against him, get the burns up. Block damage doesn't become effective. So this should be another hard battle. Well, we polymorphed, but you get it. We're also trying to go second as much as possible here as well. All right. Now, Gizmac already switched forms, so we don't have to worry. There's no HP burn on him. We can just chill. Let's go auto. Block active skills, another way to counter him. Also, you'll notice the Petrify removed the buff, by the way. I don't know if you saw that, but the Petrify will strip those buffs. So Arbeus can hypothetically counter him when she gets that revive on death buff up if she's in her first form. She might be able to petrify him, goes right through those buffs. Strips them, they don't matter anymore. We're just rocking full auto. All right, everybody comes back. Theodosia's nasty. He is surprisingly a difficult, I think, champion to use for a classic arena offense. Because you have to face teams where it's just he's not the best option. But damn, is he good in live arena. Damn, is he good in live arena, right, boys? This is dragging on. This is the other thing, too. A lot of nice fights end up being super long fights, right? Super, super, super long fights where you're just frustrated out of your mind trying to get to the end. Let it finish. I'm also making this harder by not actually controlling stuff. Theodosia also nasty. That would be the next mythical that I really hope to get at some point. Okay. Can we get him to get a turn? We can. Take a couple out. We got the revoke. Can't be resisted because she had enough turn meter. Nice. Pain links up. That's not good. Gonna chill so we don't do more damage to him. We'll res our Gizmac. I'm also not trying to use anything else other than nice whenever possible. Mm-mm. Block damage back up. Heal up the Gizmac. Mm-mm. Everyone is just sitting here waiting to die. Oh man. This is classic. We're just sitting, we're waiting. We're basically just waiting. I love it. Theodosia is messing me up, man. I shouldn't have used that then. There we go. Just use the A1. Use the A1. Okay. He's got the speed now. Okay. She's dead. Oh, man. I love it. It's fun to finally have this champion because you can just see how hard he is to kill, right? Again, he is not an arena offense champion. This is not where you should be using him, but he is really tough to kill. That's the advantage. Let's try another team. We'll try Siegfried. Take out the Gizmac. Let's throw in the Taurus. Actually, I don't even think my Taurus is built anymore. I think I stripped my Taurus of all the gear. Let's take a quick peek. Yeah, I did. Wait a minute. Where's my secondary Taurus? I don't know where he is right now. Let's try something. Let's try something a little different. Let's throw a Harima in there and see how he does against like a really strong team with a Harima. Somebody that's built not to specifically counter him, but yeah, we could do the Empress team. I like this. Empress works well. Could use Empress with him as well. Man, I miss using Harima. You know what I mean? All right. A lot of stone skin. No surprise. It's the buff off. Nice. Harima actually not the worst counter to nice. She can definitely help when it comes to reducing his damage. Let's see. Can we actually? I mean, this might weak hit, but let's just see. How much damage can this do? We'll try it on the Marichka. Yeah, not enough by itself, but it did increase his damage, of course. Increase his stats, decreased hers. We might pay for that. Probably should have just switched him into a different form. He actually lived it. Wow, damn. Well, now he's not going to live this. Okay, good. Now we get into the fun. The nice block damage off. I love it. So dumb. So he doesn't like again, he doesn't do a ton of damage when you don't have dead allies. You got to have dead allies to max him. Right? Got to have the dead allies. My Harima not built either. I think I stripped all my stuff off my Harima too. Whoops. Whoops a daisy. That was a mistake. All right, we did enough damage there to at least bring that out. That's nice. No pun intended. Okay, he hits us. We hit him. We go back and forth in these long battles. Honestly, if you were going to use nice for arena like farming, you'd want to use him with like a Marius to get all the buffs off and then switch him into another form and nuke, basically, is what you would want to do most likely. This is just rough. This is so rough using him in offense. Oh man. It's just HP battle on HP battle. All right, let's just try to nuke. All right, we did get some provokes. Oh, but there comes the health swap. Empress. Empress is a nasty one too. That health swap was so massive. You see, I mean, you can see why you get a lot of Empress usage nowadays. But we get our block damage back up. That's how you want to do it. Just keep getting that block damage. Just keep frustrating people. Now he's got his block damage up. You get the gist. I mean, this battle literally can go on for basically forever. Right? Like pretty much forever. He's just a damn good champion though. For live arena, for siege, for arena defense, where you have a little more control, I think, or a less of a need to go fast too, especially. But I would say like better in siege, better in live arena than anywhere else. Best in live arena, in my opinion. Like still by far the best in live arena as opposed to the other modes because you have more control over what you're facing than anything else. All right, this is going to go on forever. We're just going to exit out of this. All right, that's the gist of it, guys. Look, he's a hard champion to show off on classic arena offense. He is truly better fit for live arena, better fit to the other modes that I discussed. But I'm telling you right now, if you build this champion correctly, he is such a nightmare to face. Still, are there more counters to him than there were in the past? Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we saw some of them, which is great to see. But is he still extremely hard to deal with when you can take some of those counters out in a live arena setting by either picking them on your team or banning them on the other team? Yes, there are. It's why he has become such a monster champion and a champion with basically perfect reviews for areas like arena offense, defense, and faction wars. So he's not phenomenal in a lot of other areas of the game, right? Like he's not your PvE god other than clearing waves. But when it comes to arena, he is a champion that you desperately want. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if this was helpful from the perspective of how to build him, how to get maximum value out of your nice and make him an absolute terror in your live arena battles. And as always, thank you so much for the support and thank you for sticking around. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah, I'm going to keep working to get back to 100% where I can talk for a long period of time, where I can get back to streaming, where I can just be myself. Because man, frustrating not being able to be 100% me. So that's the goal. But so glad that I finally got him. So excited to get to use him in live arena. I've already used him several times off cam. And yeah, he's been incredible. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, just a phenomenal champion. Definitely broken, should be nerfed a little bit, but that's a conversation for another day. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I will catch you all in a video soon, and go tell someone you love them. All right, Big Papa Drock out.